Okay, you're good.
Awesome. So this is the November 13th, 2019 SIG Cloud Provider meeting, and we are being recorded, so please watch out for what you say. In attendance, we have myself, Richard Dace, Andrew Saikim, Fabio Rapuzelli, and Steve Wong. And Nick Turner, apparently. Cool. So start with sub-project updates. Do we have anyone from Alibaba here? Okay. Nick, anything on Amazon?
We are working on the testing portion of the Cloud Controller Manager. Progress has been a little slow last week or two just because of KubeCon and reInvent preparations, but as soon as we get through those, we'll be back into it.
Okay. On the GCP side, we've been concentrating on getting the network proxy stuff working for our managed Kubernetes. The good news there for anyone who's interested in using the network proxy is that we've confirmed that in fact it works just fine on managed Kubernetes. So we're able to use it as a complete replacement for the SSH tunnel, which is great news for our ability to actually remove Cloud Provider from the Kubernetes API server. So that is definitely good news. Anyone on the IBM side?
Yeah. So in 117 timeframe for our managed service, we're going to look at moving to the CCM right now. We're doing the initial tests and bring up in migration for that. So that's our goal in 117. Hopefully we can get there. That's it.
Awesome. Good to hear. OpenStack? vSphere?
No news to report here. We're in a bug fixing holding pattern right now, but we have no new releases on the horizon now.
Awesome. So extraction migration, I think the biggest piece of news is from Andrew. So did you want to chat quickly about the cutover stuff, Andrew?
Yes. By the way, Walter, you have some echo on your end. So I'm just going to mute you, but just letting you know that I'm muting you. Okay. So quick update. So we did a few iterations of how we want to do migration from in-tree Cloud Provider to out-of-tree Cloud Provider. This was mainly asked from folks at Google and Amazon. And so the initial prototype essentially just updates the Kube Controller Manager and the Cloud Controller Manager to read a config file, which then specifies a list of controllers that you want to put in a shared leader election resource. So we're still designing the KEP, and we still need to get approval from API Machinery, but this is the prototype. So if you want to look at broadly, you just want to get an idea of what we're proposing and what changes are going to go into Kubernetes. Like this would be the PR to look at, but then probably for 118, we're going to have the KEP updated and everything approved before we go ahead and make the changes. Just FYI. Any questions on this?
So is the earliest that migration would be alpha 118, or are we looking later than that?
I think 118 would be ideal.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's going to depend on. So I'd like to get this KEP like updated as soon as possible, and then from there it'll depend on the bandwidth of the API Machinery leads. So yeah, but yeah, otherwise I'm not sure if it'll, I mean, I'm hoping it won't be blocked because we're gonna feature gate it. We're gonna alpha feature gate it. But yeah, I don't know. I know that leader election is kind of a contentious topic because of performance reasons. So I'm anticipating some pushback, but because it's opt-in only for cloud provider migration, I might be okay, but we'll see. All right, that's it.
Just quickly, does that fix the echoing?
I think so, yes.
Cool, sorry. Awesome news on the extraction migration. I can't think of anything else particular. One quick note related to the extraction migration. The doc leads asked me for documentation on the network proxy for feature release. And I've basically said that it's somewhat documented in network proxy already, but since it's not really a user-facing issue, it's a cloud provider-facing feature, that I didn't feel it needed to be documented in the portal documentation. So this is a note to all the cloud providers that I have done this. You can find documentation in the cloud provider. You can reach out to me, and if we find that isn't sufficient, I may go back to the doc leads and ask them to actually more formally document it. All right. Did anyone have anything else they wanted to add for any of the providers? Any providers we didn't cover? All right. On the agenda, first the fun items. So we've got KubeCon next week. I would like to take folks out to dinner. So please ping me on Slack if you're available. I was thinking Thursday night's probably going to be the least busy. But let me know if other nights work better, and then just ping me, and then I'll try and book us somewhere to have dinner. Sound good?
That's great.
Yes, sir. Sounds great.
Yeah, Thursday sounds great.
All right, awesome. Andrew, public service announcement.
Yeah, so last week we merged two PRs that promotes three labels that are added by the cloud provider from beta to GA. So the biggest problem with this is that we marked labels as beta by actually prefixing the word beta in it. And that requires actually adding a new label when we promote, right? So starting in 117, we're gonna actually add both the beta labels for zone, region, and instance type, and the GA labels for zone, region, instance type to nodes. And then we're gonna keep supporting the beta labels up to 1.21, and then we're gonna remove support for the beta labels in 1.21. So this is just kind of a PSA. You're gonna start when you have users on 117, you're gonna start seeing, instead of the failure domain.beta.kubernetes.io/zone, it's gonna be topology.kubernetes.io/zone. So and we should be encouraging users to use the GA labels. I think that's it. Oh yeah, one other thing, we added control loops in the kubelet and the cloud node controller to also backfill the GA labels on an existing node that gets upgraded. So yeah, it'll be applied for both like new and existing nodes. So it should be a pretty clean upgrade. The only downside is like duplicate labels, but not much we can do about that. Any questions on this? Okay, cool.
Cool. Did anyone have any other concerns or anything else they wanted to bring up? All right, and then please note, I would like to make sure we're getting some hallway track in KubeCon. We also have, I believe, 2 cloud provider specific topics. So we're going to be doing both the cloud provider intro and the cloud provider deep dive from Yassine. So please think about attending those, especially for the folks in this call. I think you may find the Yassine's topics quite interesting. Cool. All right. given that, if no one else says anything else, get some time back. And thank you, everyone, for attending.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Bye. See you next week.
See you next week.